And I would like to present you all, I think you guys are more excited about the next subject because I'm also a super geek about this subject and I'm super excited to hear it. I would like to introduce you guys to Daniel. He's the CEO and founder of noem-ai, and he's going to share some very, very important things that will really elevate your business.
Okay, so today we're going to be talking about AI in general. How do we apply it to our businesses? And what's this new agentic AI we're talking about? So, we're going to talk about the basics of AI, the differences between an LLM and an agentic AI. I promise you I'm not going to get super geeky and technical. I'll keep it very, very simple for everybody. How does it impact our workforce? How does it change our workforce from our hiring, from our firing, from what type of workforce that we're looking for? And how do we measure our ROI? Is that red clear for everybody? Can you read that?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, so my name is Daniel Hindi. I have 25 years of experience building companies. I built 5 successful companies. noem-ai is my 6th one. I have a graveyard of bad companies that fell apart. I'm sure everybody has their own stories, but those are the successful ones. I have more bad ones that are out there. But currently my focus right now is in noem-ai. And this is an agentic AI that I'll talk about a little bit, but really what we want to do is just educate you in general on AI and how we can use that in our business. So let's start off with a short story. I promise it'll be super short. When I was building my last company, I was in the mobile app building space. I had hundreds of employees. And something happened to me towards the 6th, 7th year that I'm sure happens to everybody at some point. I'm a software engineer by trade. I love building companies, but there's days where I didn't like my job. I'm the boss. I can build this company. I did it because I love it. I'm actually good at this. I don't like it today. Today is not so great. Why? Because I'm repeating myself. I'm in constant meetings. I can't have a specific thought without somebody interrupting me. Hey boss, can you do this? WhatsApp this, Slack that, email that. Oh, I only have 5 more minutes before my next meeting. And sometimes that gets draining. All of us, when we're running businesses, you could be managing 5 people or 500 people. There's days where you just don't enjoy the work that you love. But today, you just don't love it. I was repeating myself so badly, and I'm not exaggerating here. I would record myself, and when somebody would come into my office and ask me a question, I'd say, hold on, where's my phone? I just said this like a week ago. Just listen to it. Just listen, because I'm repeating myself over and over again. How many times do you repeat yourself to your employees? And some of them are new, and that's okay, but you feel it's draining on you, right? You set up a process to say, okay, John, Jane, every Wednesday, you're going to create a blog post for me and put it on our website, right? Yes. Week 1, it goes through. Week 2, it goes through. Week 3-ish, it starts going. Week 4, it's gone, right? You set these processes. You think that they're going through, and then after a while, it just dissipates. Why? Because if you're not following up, it's pretty much going to die. Now, this is what Yanir was alluding to. It got so bad to me where we go through these exercises. If you haven't done this, I recommend everybody do this. Make your calendar your journal. It doesn't have to be in a meeting. If you spend an hour dealing with accounting, put it on your calendar. If you spend an hour in a meeting, put it on your calendar. Make sure you have 8, 9, 10 hours, whatever hours you work, it's all on your calendar. Then after 2 weeks, grab a highlighter. Print it out, grab a highlighter. One that's red, one that's green. This is what I did. I went through my calendar, I said, okay, I shouldn't be in this meeting, somebody else should be doing this. This drains me. At the end of this meeting, I am done. This gives me energy. I actually enjoy doing this. This nobody else can do but me, and I enjoy doing that. And you'll see your calendar turn like Christmas, right? Red and green. You'll see how much red is on there. And that's why we're tired. That's why at the end of the day, oh, I'm in my 40s and 50s now, I'm not young. No. You're just doing a lot more stuff that tire you. You're fine. It's just the stuff that drains you. It's on your shoulders. It tires you. You need to make sure that you have more green than you do red. So, I went to actually Virtual Latinos. I'm a customer of theirs. They're amazing. Use them. I got my first executive assistant, and he was a great unlock for me. I told him, listen, the way you measure success is if I never repeat myself. If I say it once and it happens, great, you're worth every penny I give you. And he did a great job. It was a big unlock. I felt better. But what ends up happening is you start taking on more things. You start taking on more things. You start taking on more things. And after a while, my EA needed an EA. He was complaining, like, man, I'm repeating myself all the time. Well, that's sort of why I hired you, right? But you realize it's not just me. Everybody, to a certain extent, has the same problem. This is where ChatGPT started getting popular. I'm an engineer. I'm a software engineer. I know AI. This is the technology we're dealing with. It's pretty similar to the ones that we had in the 60s. We can go technical and explain why it's different now. But it started getting more popular, more prevalent. Everybody's using it now. I said, okay, I think this time it's different. We've been talking about AI for quite some time. This time it's different. It was time for the robots to do the robotic work, and we get back to the job that we actually love. And if we could do that for us, and if we could do that for our employees, we actually get much better quality and quantity of output because we actually enjoy what we're doing. All the robotic stuff is the draining stuff because you're like, there's no value. This is just fingers on keyboard doing this right now. Let the robots do that part. So I created a company called Nomi-ai. I promise you I'm not going to sell you anything, just explaining you my journey with AI. So we'll talk a little bit more about the features at noem-ai later, but for now, let's just talk about AI in general. Hands up, who's used ChatGPT? Okay, good. Good adoption, not too bad. Anybody use anything besides ChatGPT?
Grok.
Okay. Grok is a good one. You're on Twitter knocking it out. Okay. Any image generation, video generation, anything else?
Instagram, the AI.
Okay, excellent.
Photoshop, yeah.
Excellent. Photoshop is a great one. Excellent. Okay, so I'll try to cater our examples to what we have here. So, for those of you who have not seen ChatGPT, that's what it looks like. Right? It's a prompt. It's like you're chatting with somebody on the other side, but that somebody is an AI. And that AI has been trained on the internet. That is the main difference. It took somebody with really big, brave personality, billions of dollars to say, you know what, I'm going to train my AI on the entire internet, put it on compute power, sit for 6, 7, 8 years until it comes out and maybe something comes out and ChatGPT was born. So what can I do here? You can ask it a lot of questions, right? You can have it, it's an LLM, so it's a large language model. Its job is to produce text. That could be English, that could be Spanish, that could be Portuguese, but its job is to produce text. So anything that's text generated, blog posts, social media content, things of that nature, articles to write for you, since it's trained on the internet, it can do a lot of market research for you. You can ask, hey, what is the best way to do a particular task? And who are my competitors that are out there? And it has some limitations we'll talk about in just a second. It could personalize something. If you have a canned email or a message you want to say to somebody. So for example, what I use it for all the time is when I write my emails and I write it in 2 sentences and you think I'm a bad boss, I say, hey, ChatGPT, make this one nice. Right? Let's make it nice. It's Friday evening. I'm pissed off. You shouldn't be pissed off. Okay, make it nice for them, right? So, and that helps you because generally when we're communicating, sometimes I'm frustrated right now. It has nothing to do with you. I'm just tired. Or I have 2 minutes before my daughter's recital is going on. I need to leave. I just need to tell you quickly, that's fine, good work, leave. And then you take off. But as the person receiving that message, sometimes the humanity is removed. And oddly enough, we're using AI to add humanity in. It's odd. But that's what ChatGPT is really good at. It can analyze some data sets, very simple data sets, nothing too complicated. Don't use it to buy stuff on the stock market. Ideation is really good. Ideation, what does that mean? Coming up with ideas. Ask it, hey, I'm thinking about opening up a new product line in my company. What are some good ideas for me? I just wrote this blog post. I just wrote this email. What's wrong with it? How would you make it better? And it'll come back and say, actually, you're sort of rude here. This part was not clear at all. You should fix this and fix that. So in general, it generates language for you, and it's amazing at that. But if you go in and you say, write me a blog post for the housing market in 2025, you know what it'll do? It'll write you a blog post for the housing market in 2025. Is it a good blog post? It's a blog post. If you go and say, write me an in-depth 1,000 words with the current trends and the market predictions and all the challenges ahead, and make sure it has statistics and quotes, and cite CNN and Fox and whatever business news you want to put in there, yeah, it'll get you much better, but you have to tell it that, right? So that's called prompt engineering, right? I'm oversimplifying, but that's prompt engineering. When you used to hear with computers, garbage in, garbage out, well, little in, little out as well with AI. So what are the problems? What are the limitations of LLMs? It has information cutoff. So when we said it was trained on the internet, it's not continuously training on the internet. There's a cutoff date to say, okay, as of today, go learn everything on the internet, and then anything from now on, it doesn't know. So common practice is you ask it, who's the president? And it'll tell you the president from 2 years ago. Who's the mayor? It'll tell you the mayor from 2 years ago. They're getting much better at it. Now we have about a lag of 6 months, 6 to 9 months. But as the internet keeps on getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger every year, it 10x's every time, it's going to be harder to keep up to date. There's ways to augment it, but that's one of the limitations. Access to live data, brand awareness. It'll give you, what's going on with the market today, but maybe I'm in the business of buying your home at cheap prices. So I want you to be negative. Or I am your realtor and I want to sell I have really good incentive to make sure that you actually have supply and demand in the market, so you try to increase supply. So you have a brand tone, brand awareness, and agenda behind what you're saying. It doesn't know that. It's biased. You have to tell it to do that. And again, it's just limited to text. But that being said, if you haven't tried ChatGPT, try ChatGPT. It's amazing. So, just speaking on the example of the blog. I'm going to get a little bit technical and I'll go really quick. But when you're creating a blog post, why do we create blog posts? Does anybody know?
Search engine?
Search engine optimization. The whole reason is the more pages you have, the more Google knows you're out there. The more when people search for content, they have more opportunities to hit your site. So that's why, just like news, how does CNN? I go to half their news, it's just ads, and because nobody's reading it. It's just a method for search engine to be optimized towards your website because there's more target hits on your website, right? So there's ways to do that. You optimize for SEO, you optimize for keyword density. What keywords should I look for? All that technical jargon, this is not my business. Can you just do it? This is where ChatGPT, unless you tell it to do it, unless you train it how to do it, it'll fail it. So just understanding large language models. English is a mess. Many languages are a mess because they were made by humans and not engineers. I'm an engineer, but anyway, let me give you an example here. I went to a new restaurant. I had an amazing dish. It was delicious. What is it? The dish of the restaurant. It's delicious. It's a dish, right? It was busy. Now the plate could be a little bit busy, but most likely the restaurant. It was hot. It could be hot inside the restaurant. It could be the dish. It was hot in there. Well, okay, you mean the restaurant. It was so hot I burned my mouth. Okay, you mean the dish. Now notice the it is in the middle. I have what I'm talking about before, and sometimes what comes after tells me which noun I'm talking about. So imagine as a system, it's very complex. I'm giving you pages and pages, and I do a lot of it and that and it, and it gets confused after a while. Because we don't realize that I'm actually being confusing right now. Instead of it, if I just said the restaurant was, you're very clear. You don't need to clarify, right? So this is where we get into hallucinations. This is where we get into, the chatbot it's not coming back properly. We read it and don't see that, hey, we're being vague, but we're actually being a little bit vague. Image generation. So this is actually generated by noem-ai. We actually use Stable Diffusion on the back end with all the other large ones that are out there. Beautiful woman. Okay, how did I get that image? I could say Indian woman. Great, which Indian you mean again? Or do you mean a photorealistic ISO 400 Canon lens with a Native American woman in traditional garb, 16 by 9 aspect ratio. Oh yeah, that's what I meant. It's prompt engineering. So you can go in, just throw in a word, and you'll get something back. And that something could be beautiful, but when you're trying to make it accurate, the more information you give it, the better it comes out. And we're not experts in all these things, but there are ways around it. It's great for marketing, social media, creative design, even ideation. Hey, I'm just thinking about a design. You could talk about, I'm thinking about redesigning my den. Show me a modern den. I like blues and reds. No, don't do your den blues and reds. Make it better color scheme. But it'll give you some ideas. Here's some pictures of watches. So remember how we said language gets confusing? Are these nice watches? Not too bad for AI, right? For a non-sentient being to look at these two watches, like, yeah, I told it to create a watch, they're great. Notice anything similar on the watches? Oh, I don't know if that one's for men, but I guess so. But they're 10 past 10. Do you know why they're 10 past 10? Because every manufacturer of watches out there thinks that's the ideal look for their watches. And so when they create ads, it's always 10 past 10. And because the AI doesn't know what a watch is, it says every time somebody says that's a watch, you give me something that looks like this. It's always going to give you 10 past 10. Odd thing that's out there, but that's true. Ask you, go to any image generator out there and say generate a watch. It's always 10 past 10 because the internet's full of it. Okay, this we can all use right now. One of these. Glasses of wine. So you can see the prompts on top. And I said, okay, create a glass of wine on a table with a blurred background. It did it. Glass of wine, wooden table in a vineyard. Glass of wine on a modern table. Oh yeah, it did it beautiful. This is great. I didn't even know there, right? Pay attention to my prompts up there. What's in red? What's in red is full red glass of wine. Full white wine. Full glass of rosé. Why aren't there any of them full? Why? Look at every magazine that has a picture of wine, it's always half full. So it's not that it's dumb. It was trained on that. When you're trained on the internet, what's on the internet? Half, maybe empty, but definitely not full. It's always half full glasses of wine. So this is sometimes your frustration. Why doesn't it understand? Am I saying it wrong? You're actually not saying it wrong. It was just trained on that type of data. And now that we understand why it does what it is, we can try to maneuver around it. Videos. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, full of AI videos. You can tell from the voice. It started with the voice, then it was the entire video, and now it's just a regurgitation of the same thing. You can actually create really great videos using AI. That is an Easter egg. You know what that is? Fat meme. So just so you know, I use it as well. It is a great system to generate a lot of content. So what kind of AI platforms are out there? This is a drop in the bucket. This is actually pretty old. If you notice the date up there, it's pretty old. I couldn't give you enough slides with every 5 minutes there's another AI company that's out there. And most of them are pretty good at what they do. They do something very well, but it's only that one thing. They specialize in it. And then you just got to find what you need. So the issue is, two major issues that I see. There's copy and paste tab. I go to ChatGPT, I ask it to create a blog, I have to copy it into WordPress, shoot, I need an image. Let me go to Midjourney, ask it for an image, I don't like that image, give me another image, copy that one, paste it into WordPress, and you're just going back and forth, And wait, I have a subscription to every single one of those. Every business owner, if you don't do this, please do this soon. Every 3 months, every 6 months, at least once a year, you go through your credit card bill and you say, okay, what subscriptions do we have? Is anybody using this? Is anybody using, hey, you guys asked me for this. Are you using it? We're paying $100 a month for this service. Is anybody using it? So you go through subscription fatigue because there's so many out there and you're paying $20 here, $50 here, $200 here, $300 here, and you hope your staff are using it. Okay, little plug. That's why I created noem-ai. We integrate with all the top models that are out there all in one platform and all the business tools out there so you don't have to copy and paste. We just have one platform that does it all for you. But enough about noem-ai. So, noem-ai is an agentic AI, and I'll explain what agents are. That's a good intro there. So, at noem-ai we have pre-trained agents. So remember that SEO jargon that I was talking about writing a good blog post, technically a good blog post? We have agents that are pre-trained on exactly how to do it at an expert level. So, I don't know how to do it, I'm not a blog writer. Give me an agent that's pre-trained. I'm trying to write a pristine entry into the MLS system. I have a new listing, I'm a realtor, and I want to put it in the MLS, and you know what? It makes a difference the way you list the property, right? Is this a luxury home? Is this a fixer-upper? What? I have my own tone. You could teach it how to do it, or you could find somebody, an agent that's already pre-trained on the optimal way on how to do it. It can achieve tasks autonomously. I'll show you that in just a little bit. You don't have to babysit it like ChatGPT and actually type in every time and wait for its response. And if I leave the website, shoot, I have to start all over again. You can give it tasks to achieve, and it can do a lot more than just text. So, in general, everybody's heard this. Everybody's heard this. You're always told you can only pick two. Good, fast, or cheap. Right? That's the common wisdom. You can only pick two. AI is supposed to give us three. And that's where we should always challenge it. If it's not giving us all three, it's not doing its job. We need it quick, we need it fast, and we need it right the first time. Always use that as your measuring stick. How does it affect the workforce? So, let's go way back in time. I'm old enough to remember when I first started my career, I would go over and ask somebody who was more senior, hey, how do you do X, Y, or Z? And they'd come over, don't worry about it, I'll do it for you. And they'd come in and they'll do it for you. I'm doing this as if it was always on computers, but anyway. The reason being is the value of the high-end employees was based on the information they had. And they didn't want to share it a whole lot, right? Because if I shared the information I have, then you're just as good as me. And then information became prevalent. You know, with the internet, there's a lot of information, books, education has become a lot more prevalent. Everybody has a master's degree. So now it became about critical thinking. Now you have the knowledge. What do you do with that knowledge? How do I put it together to solve this problem? And we actually had a renaissance in growth because people learned how to critically think. They didn't, this is pre-Google. Pre-Google, everybody had to figure it out. Then Google came. Said, you don't have to figure it out. Somebody else did it. Search for it. They went from critical thinkers to researchers. Everybody knows like how to search on the internet to find something, but if the answer's not there, I guess there is no answer. No, there's a way to figure it out. You're just a good researcher. You lost the ability to critically think. This is where we're at right now with AI. If it has the knowledge, if it can make decision-making, critical thinking pretty well for me, could do the research for me, what's left? What's left, in my estimation, is the who and the why. Why are we doing this? Why? When a customer comes in and I tell my new employee, hey, go help that customer right there really quick. They just come in. Oh, I'm busy right now. Why are you here? Aren't we here to service customers? Doesn't that customer pay us and then pay your salary? Understanding why we do what we do. The who. I have a Mexican restaurant. Somebody says, hey, you know what? I think we should add pasta to our menu. Do you not know who our customers are right now? Like, do you not know why and who we're serving? It doesn't make sense to people who don't think deeply. And thinking deeply is what we've been robbed of. Wisdom is knowing that a tomato is a fruit. Sorry, knowledge is knowing that tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is knowing not to put it on a fruit salad. Right? Only with experience would you know, like technically, I'm giving you the analogy here, but tomato is a fruit. But putting it in a fruit salad will just ruin everything. Knowing why and who and what we're doing is very important. This is the crux of why AI matters as business owners. We and our employees are stuck swimming in shallow thought. Because between your phone ringing, between the meetings that you have, between every noise that's out there, you can't spend 5 minutes thinking about something. And you have a deadline, I need this done by tomorrow, so I need to knock it out now. So we've been always in shallow thought, and sometimes I just want to be left alone for a little bit. Let me think deeply about what I'm saying here, why I'm doing it, who I'm trying to attract, what messaging that I need to put. All of us know we put half-baked work out there. That could be a product, that could be text, that could be in a meeting. You weren't fully there. If we're able to spend more time thinking about why we're doing what we're doing and who this message is for, who this product is for, we'll actually do a lot better. Let AI do the rest. 80% of the time, this is the 80-20 rule. It applies to many different things. 80% of your employees' time goes towards fingers on keyboard, being at the register, doing whatever they're doing and not thinking about it. You're lucky if you get 20% of the owner or the employee thinking about why we're doing what we're doing and who we're trying to serve. Imagine you were able to flip that. Imagine I said you have 1 hour, spend 80% of it thinking deeply why we're doing this and what message are you trying to do, what are you trying to create, and then 20% of the time, let AI do the work for you. I figured out what needs to be done, I really thought about it, and now 20% of the time, all the work's done. All right, I gave us a quick intro to Agentic AI, but really what's the difference? LLMs, ChatGPT, large language models, produce text, right? So it's good at text generation, it's good at understanding languages and multi-languages. So if you talk to it in Spanish, it'll reply back in Spanish. If you talk to it in Portuguese, it'll reply back in Portuguese. But the difference with Agentic AI is you can give it a workflow to actually follow. You can give it tooling to break out of just text. Hey, go call my back office on Microsoft Excel. I have some data, go pull it from there. Go to the internet, pull it. Create a file, create a video. Don't just do text. Go actually do something. Give it the ability to make decisions for you and automate those tasks. That's the difference between an agent and just a standard AI model that can do just one thing. Does that make sense? So, autonomous work. Wouldn't it be great if you could just set it and forget it? Just like you ask for an employee, hey, can you go do something for me? And it just does it. I don't have to babysit it. You could say things like, create a blog post for me in WordPress format, because my website's on WordPress, and give it to me every Monday. And every Monday morning in your inbox without fail, it'll be there. And you don't have to remind it, hey, remember, Monday I need that from you. Remember, it's Friday. Get it? You don't have to do that anymore. AI will do that for you. AI doesn't get tired. Every month, send me 10 new ads for Facebook and Instagram. I have a restaurant, and I'm trying to promote it on Instagram, I'm trying to promote it on Facebook. It needs to always be fresh. People get tired of the same ad over and over and over again. But it's expensive. I gotta pay a designer every single time to create me new ads. I gotta get a photographer. It's a mess. Well, what if AI could do that for you? What if I had a sales pitch and I said, you know what, I'm about to meet a really big client from Mexico City that's coming in, and he's in textiles, he's in the restaurant industry. Can you just change my pitch a little bit just for this customer? And I don't have to spend 3 hours doing that. I can just do it for you. Answer questions about my products and services online. 80% of the phone calls I get are simple questions that were answered on my website, but they won't read it. Can you just do it for me on my website? Can you create a custom video for me? Can you create a daily social media post and just post it on my social media because I need to be engaging and hip with everybody? It's tiring. It's tiring, especially after a meeting, to go and do that. I'm supposed to put quality out there, but I'm tired. I got another meeting in 5 minutes. Oh, it's good enough. Just put it out. AI can help us with this. Show of hands. How many of you know that you should be doing more content online and fail to reach the level that you want? I'm one of them. I'm one of them. You know you should be doing more. You know why? Because you could always be doing more. You could always be doing more. Right? But it's tiring, it's expensive if you hire just a team to do it. And you just need to know that it needs to constantly be fresh and new out there. And like I said before, the reason why we create content out there is so people looking for us find us on Google, and I don't have to be extorted by Google and pay them an exorbitant amount of money so I can be the first one in contact. Right? If that's you, the red fish, you say, I stand out. That's true, but under the water, when I have a hook, I'm not really looking a whole lot. Whoever's biting, I'm fishing. The chances that I'm going to get a bluefish is more likely than that redfish, even though it does stand out. You need to multiply your presence online as much as possible so you have more chances for a hit. More chances. If they just show up to my doorstep, I'll close the deal. I'll get them to buy my product. I'll get them to buy my service. I just need them to show up. And you could do that with money. Just pay Google more and more. And guess what? The more you pay Google, anybody does Google ads, Facebook ads in here? I'm sure most of you do. You notice the more you spend, the higher your cost per click goes up? Odd. Really odd. It never goes down. It always goes up. The more money you spend, the cost per click goes up for some reason. So, what are we doing at noem-ai? Like I mentioned before, we have pre-trained agents. You come in, and again, I promise you I'm not selling anything, just showing you what AI can do. With noem-ai, so it's like those little funny hats. So that's sort of our thing. We have pre-trained gnomes. You can tell, hey, I need a blog writer. I don't need ChatGPT. I need somebody who actually knows how to write a blog perfectly at an expert level, 20 years experience, and perfect the first time. We have one. I need a social media post that understands my brand, my tone, my audience, and give it to me. I need 5 different variations every single morning, and I'm going to pick the 3 that I love. Yeah, we have that for you. I need a video creator. I need a presentation creator. I need all these agents that are out there. They're all pre-trained. They're all pre-trained and ready for you. If you want something custom, you can make your own custom agent as well. So, domain expertise and pre-training at your fingertips. You don't have to teach it because I don't know. I'm not an expert in everything. We found experts and we had them train our agents. So, simple interface. Just like ChatGPT, you're able to prompt it. You can ask it a question and it'll create something for you. Right? That's a simple prompt. We have that too. You could schedule something. Again, I'm in the real estate business. I want to keep my ads fresh. Hey, go create an ad for me. Go create 5 ads for me every Friday so that by Monday morning they're ready for me to post. It can interact with your website as a chat bot. It could be on WhatsApp. It could be on Slack. It could be on your mobile app. You can integrate it with your API. Prompt engineering. So remember when we were talking about how to generate the Native American woman? Right? Well, I don't know what that style is. Well, what if I showed you a bunch of styles? Said, pick the one you like. You don't need to know how to write the prompt for this. Pick, oh, you know what? This is actually a really cool one. I'm going to do that one. Select it. It's pre-trained. It knows that style, and it'll create images for you under that style. Anybody use Canva? A lot of Canva's pretty popular, right? So Canva, the biggest thing is that it gives you a lot of templates to start from. I don't have to start from a blank slate, right? There's something out there that I can start from. So we have a bunch of templates as well, but the difference between us and Canva is we try to make sure you can't screw it up. In Canva, you're like, wait, I started off with this really beautiful template. What? You can't tell me they came from the same origin. And in Canva, with additional controls, you could actually make it look worse. So we're trying to remove that. We're trying to find the right balance there. All right, so if you're creating ads, simple social media post, right? This is for real estate. We've noticed through our system, animated ads have a 30% higher click-through rate. You know how much more expensive it is when you hire a designer to do that for you? It's 10 times more expensive. So generally speaking, the reason why you don't see too many of them is because it costs 10 times more for only a 30% boost. But what if it didn't cost 10 times more and it was much faster? Could I get that boost on my social media? This is just an example of real estate. Chatbots. Chatbots, we've all done some support chatbots online, right? Most of them are really not chatbots. They give you just 3 examples, and you just click on the option that you want, and it just gives you a canned answer. We actually have real chatbots that are used for customer support, SDR, which is the sales development representative, somebody who's trying to close a deal that's on the site. Like, hey, I'll support you, I'll explain to you what my product does, but I'm trying to get you to buy. We have educational coaches that are chatbots as well. We have a whole company using our platform to educate elementary school children So for example, their chatbots, they're trying to teach you arithmetic. And before it starts teaching you arithmetic, it'll say, hey, user, what do you like? Well, I like video games and sports. Well, I'm going to give you examples about video games and sports that teach you arithmetic. Well, I like cooking and fashion. Okay, well, I can still teach you arithmetic with those examples. What do you like? The AI will cater its examples for you. So it helps in education and coaching as well. Content. We've been talking a lot about content. Creating posts, blog posts, social media posts. Brand awareness, being very, very aware about your brand, your tone, your messaging, and making sure that it resonates every single time. How many slides have we gone through so far? A lot of slides, right? I promise we'll try to end this. This entire deck, made by noem-ai. Think I wrote this all? I appreciate it if you do. No, it wasn't me. Now, if you're going from 0 to 1, I don't have any social media presence. I don't have any blog writing. I don't have any interaction. Going from 0 to 1, AI has got your back. You can do that tonight, right? Well, what if no? I do. I do have a social media presence. I do blogs. I just want to do more at a higher volume, higher quality. That's where you get to maybe not the final version because you've already established a level that you're looking for. But if it gets you to the draft version right before final. So this presentation, I've tweaked it a little bit. I'd be lying if I said I didn't tweak it, but it's 80 slides. You think I wrote every single one? No, write it out. Because it's always easier to critique than to create. Right? Let's say none of us know how to cook. We all know how to cook, but let's say we don't know how to cook. If we go to a restaurant and have a dish, I can tell you it doesn't taste good. I may not be able to tell you why. I can just tell you I don't like it. Is it too much cilantro? Is it too much pepper? Is it too much spice? I don't know. I just know I don't like it. When AI creates that first version for you, you can say, I don't like it, give me another version. It's too wordy, make it shorter. It's too short, make it longer. Change the tone. It's easier to critique than to create. How does this affect our workforce? Slowly over time, the workforce will adopt itself to look at AI as a tool. But there's still a little bit of fear. There's still a little bit of fear. You know why? They're afraid they're going to get fired. And I say this all the time. If AI can replace you, it should. It should. It absolutely should. If a vending machine can replace you, a vending machine should do your job. My guess is you're more than just what AI can do, and that your staff will probably be replaced by somebody who is using AI in their work. It's not that AI will replace you. It's the competitor that's next to you, the guy that's fighting for the same job. They use AI, and as a boss, as long as you produce, I don't care how you produce. Was it legal? Yeah, I don't care. Come on in, because you do 10 times more. 10x the productivity. So imagine I have 2 customer service reps, and they're swamped. They're swamped. I need the third. The problem is I don't know if I can justify 40 hours a week and a full-time salary for a third. But with 2 customer service reps, guess what happens? Somebody goes on vacation. What happens to the other? The other quits. If I'm swamped now and my colleague goes on vacation, that means 100% is on me, I'm out. So you as a business owner, you have a single point of failure. You have a stress point. It's not enough for me to hire somebody else, but they're really stressed and they can't take a vacation because if one of them take a vacation, the load's all on one person, and that person, they're great, they're amazing, but they're going to quit. It's always a problem. It's a struggle, especially when you're on the smaller scale. So AI can alleviate that. AI can reduce that burden. Say, hey, just deal with level 2 tickets. All the level 1 tickets, AI will take care of it for you. This is extremely important. We deal with this when we're dealing with outsourcing team, with internal team, with everybody. There's a standard deviation amongst your workforce. That's a fancy mathematical word. What the hell does standard deviation mean? Standard deviation means the variance of the sample set of data. Through your employees, you have good employees, you have bad employees. You have senior employees, you have junior employees. You have new employees, you have old employees. So it creates a variance, right? Some of them are good, some of them are bad. Some of them are good, they're just new. They're just still learning, right? AI will make sure that it's a fresh 9 a.m., fresh cup of coffee in their hand, ready to go every time. The consistency will always be there. The standard deviation shrinks to the top level, not to the median, to the top. Because the quality will always be there. Imagine yourself. You're responding back to a customer, 9 a.m. in the morning, so assuming you're a morning person. A fresh cup of coffee, you answer, hey, everything's great, yeah, we'll take care of it for you. Versus 5 p.m., you're tired, you're on your 5th cup of coffee, you're burnt out, and you need to respond. The quality is going to be different, and that's you. And you care. You care about your business. Not only your employees care about your business like you do, nor should they. You're the owner, right? What if I can always get the fresh result, the best version of everybody? That's what AI unlocks in us. Because I'll just say, hey, make it polite, make it nice, make it to our brand, and then I can reduce the error, keep the consistency there, and make sure it's always top-level consistency between us and all our employees. Okay. Upskill the level of your employee. Your employees have a certain amount of skills. There's certain things they don't do. Well, what if they can start doing all this? I don't need to hire somebody else because it's not a full-time job worth of it. I just need somebody who can speak Portuguese because 5% of my customers speak Portuguese. It's not worth me hiring somebody just for that. Well, with AI, they can speak multiple languages. They can do a lot more now because they don't have to be super technical to know how to do it. They just need to use AI and it'll produce it for you. Training your own agents. Does anybody care about training their own agents? You want to go really quickly on this one, or? I'll go really quick. Okay. Nomi-ai allows you to train your own agents. That you can just give it simple language, no code. You got to be careful with how you train your agents. You have to tell it, just like a new employee, what is your role? What is your expected outcomes? What is the process to follow? What are the things that you want to avoid? Just like you would when you're training a new employee, you want to tell it what to do. But the good thing is, you only have to tell it once. You don't have to repeat yourself over and over and over again. So, whenever we're dealing, remember the language with what does it refer to? Things like that, when you're training your agents, you need to be careful. But it's just language. If you get it wrong, you can just come in and fix it. There's no hiring an engineer to go do it for you. You can just go in and say, oh, I see what I did here. I copied and pasted this in, and it's actually wrong. Let's actually go in and fix it. And immediately it's fixed. You ask it what you think it understood. So what do I mean? You just hired a new employee. You spent 3, 4, 5 hours with them explaining what their job is. You say, okay, Brenda, tomorrow morning, what are we doing? Oh, I'm going to go to a meeting. No, I told you, you check your emails first, and then you go to the meeting. Let's do this again and again. Same thing with AI, you ask it. I just trained you on what the process is, what your goals and your mission is. Ask it. Nomi-ai, we actually can give you a little graph to say, hey, give me the sequence of your logic. What do you think I just told you? And it'll tell you, and you keep at it until it's right, but then that's it. It's done. It's over. There's no, AI won't quit you, right? An employee may quit, and you have to go through training all over again. All right. This one's going to be funny. All right. So, does everybody know what this image is? That's supposed to be the Founding Fathers based on what Google thought the Founding Fathers were. Right? This is called implicit or hard-coded bias. This is something by Google that they thought they were doing a good thing, but by mistake they did it too much and it ended up giving us bad results. Right? It came from a good place, but it ended up giving us a bad result. So, not all bias is bad. Some bias is good. If I have an agent negotiating a lease for my property where I'm renting my restaurant, right? I want you to be biased. I want you to side with me and not with the leasee. Or if I'm the owner, right? I want you to be biased towards my side. Talk to me about what I should be worried about, not the other side, right? So some bias is good. Some bias is implicit, and some bias is explicit. Explicit is when I say, be biased towards me. I want you. I'm on one side of the contract. I care about my side. The implicit bias is it says, why is this picture here? If I asked you, when you hit your dog, you use your right or left hand? There's an implicit piece in there that says, I hit my dog, but I don't hit my dog. But the way you framed your question says this is an established fact that you hit your dog, right? Who's the best empire? Why is the British Empire the best empire that ever was? Well, implicit in what you asked is a conclusion. So we need to always be careful with how we prompt and how we train AI to not, by accident, give it a bias that's actually a bias we don't want. Data security. Whichever vendor you use, and the type of data, whether you're dealing with HIPAA compliance or not, or SIP or FERPA or FedRAMP or whatever compliance you're dealing with, you always need to keep that top of mind. You always need to keep top of mind what type of data you're giving it. Sometimes you can obfuscate data, right? So basically remove the telephone number, remove the email because you really don't need it in the context of what we're doing. So you can remove some data before it goes to it. But there's also levels. Most of the vendors that are out there, you could buy the enterprise level, and it's a more secure level. Not all of them, but check. Most of them, they offer an enterprise level that's more secure. With noem-ai, because we have enterprise level access to all the models that are out there, because we have the volume, everybody with us automatically gets that level. All right, I'm wrapping up, I promise. Humans and AI. Imagine every one of your employees had their own assistant. How much more could you get out of them? Every single one that costs less than 10%, less than 5% of what they cost you. But you can get 10x the productivity. Make sense? Always keep learning, always fine-tune, always tweak, always adjust. But the good thing is, as you're doing all that, AI is on our side, time is on our side, because AI is going to get better and better and better and better. The only difference is you don't want to necessarily double down on a particular model because that's the best today, but in 2 weeks it may not be. And we automatically integrate with the best models. Part of our pre-training that we do with our agents is we know which vendor is the best vendor for this problem. We select it for you. You don't have to worry about it. Is Claude better than ChatGPT? Is better than Gemini? Is better than Grok? We take care of all that for you. How do we measure success? Okay, the meat and potatoes. Business owners here, pay attention. Time and money. It's always time and money. Always time and money. Time equals money, then it's always money and money. Right? Why? It's not us being cynical. Does everybody want to get paid? Does everybody on the first want that paycheck to actually go through? So sorry, it's about money. If it's not, would you work for me for free? No, so sorry, it has to be about money. We all do. We're not doing this for free. Let's get a little bit more technical. When we create content, what's our goal? Our goal is to convert people who don't buy from us to start buying from us. And once they buy from us, I want you to buy again. And once you spend $100, I want you to spend $200 next time. Right? We're in business. This is the way business works. Increase impressions. More people see you. Click-through rate. More people click on the content that you have. Cost per acquisition. Your customer acquisition cost, your CAC, will go down because you have more volume coming through. SEO gives you better organic traffic from search engines, Google, Bing, and so on. And at the end, your ROAS should be more optimal. The return on ad spend. All your marketing budget, all in, how much did you spend? What's the return on that spend? If I put $10,000 a month, did you give me 20 back? Did you give 15 back? 9 back? ROAS. If you don't know your ROAS, make sure you know your ROAS. This is very critical. If you're spending $10,000 a month and your marketing company says, well, I don't know how much it'll give back, they're doing a bad job. NPS score, your net promoter score, word of mouth. Will people speak highly of me? So for your customer success teams. Response times. It's 6 o'clock, everybody's gone home. Yeah, but somebody came in at 7 o'clock and it was super urgent. Our chatbot took care of it. Oh, and by the way, they spoke Portuguese and it answered in Portuguese for us. So this is how we measure success technically. If you're going to build your own tech stack, so some of us have the ability, we have maybe some engineering teams that we deal with, we may outsource it, but we could build our own stuff. Just be careful, do you have the engineering team? Is this their domain expertise? Can they work fast enough? Because if it's going to take them 6 months to do anything, it's already too late. AI has changed since then. Models change all the time. Make sure you measure what matters. Make sure that they can maintain it. And make sure you get an ROI on it. So make sure you pick the right vendor. Whether you're creating your own AI or integrating with somebody, make sure you pick the right vendor. Spend only what you need and not more so that you can adapt. Because if there's tomorrow some other vendor is better, you need to be able to switch. This is a snapshot of noem-ai. We give you your an analysis on savings. We basically calculate how much time got saved for you and assume $20 an hour, and you could save thousands a week. Final thoughts. Let robots do the robotic work. Spend more time thinking deeply. Questions?
How many people, if you get a subscription to noem-ai, how many people can use it?
As many as you want.
So there's
So it's a pay-as-you-go system, so there's no subscription, there's no monthly fee. You buy tokens, right? You immediately, everybody who signs up, you'll get 1,000 tokens, and those tokens get consumed. So 1,000 characters, for example, will be 1 token. One token is 2 cents, right? And so as you consume, if $20 lasts you 6 months, then in 6 months you'll put another $20 in. If it lasts you 2 days, then in 2 days you'll put another $20 or $100, whatever you want to replenish.
So what about logins? Like,
As many as you want. So as the pay-as-you-go system, everybody's used to the tier system, the silver, gold, platinum, and I really want this one feature on the enterprise level, but I have to pay $500 a month for this one feature. We don't do that. We give you all the features all at once. Everybody gets everything. You just consume whatever tokens that you consume. The premium features will consume more tokens, and the less premium features don't. And you can see exactly how much, and you can see how much time you saved. And if your team is using it, you can see who's abusing it and how much money you've saved. Go ahead.
what's an example of a premium feature that consumes more tokens than others?
The most expensive things on our platform is generating video from scratch, right? Which some of you may do and may not. So it's when you have, I don't have an image, I don't have anything, I need to create a video, or animating an existing image. So
Is that based on time or is that based on?
So, like I said, while we do have our own AI, we integrate with all the models out there. All the models out there charge us per token. So as they get cheaper, we make it cheaper for our venues. As new things come out and they're more expensive, then that just trickles down to us. But you pay as you go. We pay the monthly whether you use it or not. You only pay noem-ai if you use it. So again, at the end of the month, tokens don't expire. Once you bought the tokens, they sit there forever. And you know what? During Christmas, I let everybody, in our business, it goes down. Let everybody go home for 3 weeks. I'm paying for the service. You're not paying anything. You only pay for what you use.
I saw you had an example of how one of the gnomes could be a sales development representative.
Yep.
Do you have any outbound features for AI agents to contact people, or is it just inbound?
Currently, we can curate content for you, but we don't have any outbound like phone callers that people that actually call and the AI that calls. We've had mixed results whenever we've dabbled with that. I don't necessarily think this will change over time. Remember when AI voices used to sound like a speak and spell and sound very poorly like that, right? Now they're a lot better, but 3 sentences in, you sort of can tell it's AI now. People feel offended when we try to do this. Still not 100%, unless they're expecting the AI phone call. If they're expecting it, then it's okay, you've level set. If they're not, it's a cold call and you're calling it, you hang up. It's very expensive to you, you churn because you're like, my conversion rate's really low, and you just hang up. But if you say, hey, I'll have my AI agent call you, that's where you see a different result.
Reply.io, there's a lot of that email campaign, LinkedIn message, cadence type of thing.
Yep.
No, you have gnomes that do.
Yes.
You just tell me I want something that creates an email follow-up, drip campaign, etc.
Correct. And so the more information you give it, so if you load all your documents, your return policy, your warranties, your products and services, the more information you give it, the better the results that come out. Now with us, we have the ability to create a company persona in the platform. And so I have 5, 6, 10 agents. And I want to tell every single agent that something changed. You have it in your company files, all of them get updated. You can have an all-hands meeting to all your agents and say, okay, everybody, we're now going to sell, we used to sell men's shoes, now we're going to sell women's shoes. And all of the gnomes immediately know. You could actually have the gnomes communicate with each other. You could say, hey, Frank, go tell Brenda, we just spent an hour going over our new brand positioning. Make sure your ads reflect based on what we said. And they can communicate with each other.
Yeah, can you share tokens with different profiles? Or
So if you are the company owner and you funded yours, you could add people to your account, and all their consumptions goes to you, so that they don't every single one doesn't have to go create their own account. This is the company account. Use it for just company.
Okay.
You can see what's being used, and it will all come from your one account.
And through one account, you can have. You said you could create your own node, like to.
You can create a custom gnome,
So
or
you
you
can
hire.
have multiple ones.
Yes, you can have as many as you want. From the same, let's say, ad creative, right? They're creating ads for me, but I have two products.
Yeah.
I have men's shoes and women's shoes. I have, multiple things. I want them separate. You can hire the same gnome over and over again, and because it's a token-based system, you don't get charged anymore because of the number of gnomes. You just, do you use the gnome? Yeah, then you got charged for it.
And it's important that you should mention that if you guys, there's no fee for signing up to noem-ai, and automatically you get 1,000 tokens for free.
Yeah, no
So
credit
you
card
can test
needed.
it out for
Give
free.
it a shot.
Yes, so I have tested ChatGPT asking from different ChatGPTs asking to do something. And the response is very similar. How similar is your, like,
Does it end with in conclusion? All ChatGPT is very similar. So, what do we do? That's a very good question.
Yeah.
We do two things. One, each one of our agents has a slightly different personality. So if you're talking to the marketing guy, we're trying to make him a little hipster, a little bit cooler, even in the language. If you're talking to a technical gnome, it'll be technical and more professional. So we give them different personalities on how to respond back. But if you took the ChatGPT response and went to Claude, the Anthropic LLM, and asked it, hey, how would you make this better? Then took it to Gemini, how would you make it better? You get the best of all worlds because you had all the models compete for the best idea, right? Now, OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, isn't going to do that. I'm not going to send your request to my competitor. We're in it because we have all the models. We don't have a dog in the fight. We'll send it to all the models. So the Omni, the 01 and 03 models, 03 mini on ChatGPT, it basically asks itself 3 times, I'm oversimplifying, how would you make this better? How would you make this better? How would you make this better? And then give you the output. We do the same with our reasoning model, but we ask first ChatGPT, and then Claude, and then Gemini, and then give it. So you get the best of all the models.
But like, for example, if you sell homes and I sell homes and you create an ad and I create an ad, it's like seems like the same type of ad, or?
So when you're onboarded, and if you give it a shot, you'll see it asks you in the beginning, what's your niche? Why are you different than your competitors? Give me a sample of your tone. Are you witty? Are you funny? Are you technical? So it starts to learn more about you and why you're different. Because if I asked you, hey, why are you different than your competitors? I'm sure you'd come up with something. So you tell that to it in the beginning. You can also give it sample content. Whether it's the content you created or content that you like and you want to mimic, you can give it sample content and say, act like that. Write messages like that. I like this marketer that's out there. Or this is the stuff I've done and I really like it. Mimic it.
Can you do payroll with the gnomes?
No, we don't do
You don't do payroll.
No, unfortunately we don't.
So what would $1,000, 1,000 tokens get me? Give me an example.
So,
One ad or 10 ads?
depends on the ad.
But give
So
me
if you're doing a
example.
video ad, for example, so
Free.
1,000 tokens would get you, my math is correct right now, about 5,000 interactions on a chatbot. It's 6 tokens for an image. So, it's 1 token per 1,000 characters, so of text. Let's see, if it's 2 cents, so I'm converting to currency. So 1,000 tokens is $20. Creating a 1-minute video, which is the most expensive thing you could do on our platform, is about $2.50.
Okay.
So we're going to change our pricing model based on the price of eggs. It's cheaper than a carton of eggs. So if that gives you sort of, so 1,000 tokens goes quite a while. Now the most consumption that you'll make is generally in the beginning, because you're going back and forth and you're fine tuning it until you get it where you're at. And then actually the amount of tokens get a lot less because there's a lot less back and forth. You've already trained it. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Any other questions? I'll be available afterwards if anybody wants to talk to me. Thank you for listening. If you want to contact me, that's my contact information. Again, thank you everybody for putting up with my 80 slides.
Gracias.
I was on.